Welcome back. We now dive into a major retail transaction. The JD Financial Services has acquired OK Bazaars Namibia's furniture division, including OK Furniture and House and Home as well. The move, which is approved with conditions by the Competition Commission, marks a shift in the country's retail landscape. And to discuss the impact, I'm now joined by the Director for Mergers and Acquisitions at the Namibian Competition Commission, Mr. Johannes Ashipala. Mr. Ashipala, good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you so much for being here. Well, just to start with, in layman's terms, just explain to us actually what happened here and what JD Financial Services has actually acquired.
Okay, thank you. Thank you once again. What has happened is that actually there are two transactions. There is a transaction where the Pepco Group is acquiring Big Daddy, which is the clothing retailer. And then there is a transaction where the subsidiary of the Pepco Group is acquiring the OK Furniture. So those are the two transactions. Right. The two transactions, we looked at them as one. Why? Because the acquirer is mainly just one. Now, when we do this type of transaction, there are mainly two questions that we usually ask. The first question is the proposed transaction likely to result in competition concerns? Yes. The second one is the proposed transaction likely to result in public interest concern? Now, when we do that, there are a number of things that we look at. We look at economic data, we look at, we talk to the public, we talk to the competitors. Now, in these two cases, our conclusion was that the proposed transaction will strengthen a dominant position which the acquirer currently holds. And therefore, it then means that, yes, there will be public interest concern and there will also be competition concerns that will be arising as a result of the transaction.
How do you strike a balance as the Commission between allowing, business consolidation and preventing anti-competitive market behavior?
Yes, this is exactly what we have done in this case. Because at least in this case, we have identified that there are competition and public interest concern. But we said, yes, okay, we will let it go. We will approve the transaction, but we will approve the transaction with the condition to ensure at least that we try and prevent the anti-competitive behavior that are likely to happen in the future. And therefore, that is the reason for the condition.
So what does the consumer see at the end of the day, with Pepco having acquired Big Daddy and so on? Do we see name changes, brand changes, as well as with their subsidiary JD acquiring OK Furniture, etc.? What does this look like for the consumer?
The consumer might actually not perhaps realize that anything has happened. They will continue to go to the same shops that they used to shop from, but the control of those entities have changed. That is what it means. So the one who makes decisions for those entities have changed. And therefore, those are the decisions that relate, for example, to prices, that relates to the quality of products that the consumer will be buying. That will be only one person instead of being two in the past. So what it means is basically that there will be no more competition between the two entities that have merged.
Talk to us, Mr. Ashipala, about the mechanisms that the Commission, would have in place to monitor ongoing compliance with imposed merger conditions, such as, commitments on supplier relations, as well as non-building, and also, of course, avoiding retrenchments, because that's also a reality when mergers such as this happen.
Yes. Now, when we approve a merger with condition, there is a compliance program that we put in place, and the entities that are merging are then required to comply strictly with the program that we have that we are giving to them. So it means that for the period that the condition will be in place, they will have to give us reports in terms of what will be happening. Specifically, for example, if we look at the issue of employment, it means that they are not allowed to retrench for a period of 3 years. Now, for example, how do we monitor that? They need to give us the current data in terms of the number of employees. That will then, we will then be using that as a base to actually determine whether they will be retrenching or they will not be retrenching for the period of the conditions.
Well, we're just going to take a brief little break, and we'll be right back after that, continue our conversation here with Mr. Ashipala. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still talking to Mr. Johannes Ashipala from the Namibian Competition Commission. We were talking, of course, about the merger that's just happened and the acquisitions that you explained to us, but I want to understand how smaller local retailers, they might struggle to compete post-merger due to the increased market power of these larger players. So what specific measures, if any, does the Commission, have in terms of protecting SMEs and maintain market diversity within the retail sector?
Yes, that is actually a good question. That is actually the reason why we have come up with the condition. There is a condition that specifically talks to the SMEs and how we are trying to protect them. The fact that we have found that there is this transaction will strengthen dominance, it means that the SMEs might actually find it very difficult for them to grow. Now, those that are currently in the market, and it might even be more difficult for others to enter the market. Yeah. So it's on the basis of that we have come up with a condition that talks to that. And the condition that we have set up is actually to try, it's for the merging entity to try and ensure that they provide shelf space for the products that are manufactured locally. And these are the products then that will be coming from the SMEs. So that is one of the issues that we are looking at. The issues of tying and bundling, usually consumers will think that, okay, this is good, it's a good deal. Buy one, get two.
Of course.
So it's in the short term, it's actually a good deal for a consumer, but long term, it might actually be difficult for the SMEs to compete with this type of deals. And therefore, again, it's for that reason that we have come up with the condition that there should not be any tying and bundling, because we believe that will affect the SMEs negatively.
Just lastly, Mr. Ashipala, how does the Commission assess the impact of cross-border transactions on Namibian markets and consumers?
Now, all the entities that are merging, whether they are in Namibia physically or they are not in Namibia, as long as their conducts or their transaction have an impact on the Namibian economy, they are required to notify us. So it then means that if an entity derives any turnover from Namibia, wherever it is in the world, and they are merging, those two entities that are merging might actually be elsewhere, and they are not currently present in Namibia.
Right.
They are required by law to notify us. Now, when we do the analysis, we don't really consider where the entity is what we consider is the impact in the Namibian economy. In most cases, the entity will tell us, for example, that, okay, no, this transaction has already been approved in Namibia, in Botswana, and elsewhere. But that does not really change anything. What we would want to see is we want to see the impact of that transaction in Namibia.
Mr. Ashipala, in closing, your final remarks this evening?
We just want to once again say thank you very much to the public for the information that they have shared with us, as well as to the competitors for the information that they have shared with us. Without those information, we could not have come to the conclusion that we have made in this transaction. And we rely on them sharing those information with us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to continue with conversations after this brief break, so do stay with us here on MPC1. You're watching the Daily Roundup with Nina.